go down. Hello, if anyone is there. I think WWDC is going on, and that is not what this stream is about. I'm Jen Schiffer, and it's Monday, June 9th, coming to you on the World Wide Web from Jersey City, home of the 2025 Pokemon Go Fest, which happened this past weekend. I did not partake as a participant, but as a spectator. And I'm coming to you this early, well, it's not really early afternoon anymore, late afternoon, with the 8th installment of Glitch and Gabbo, where I'm going to be going through my glitch.com apps, specifically from March 2021. I might have said 2020 when I posted on social. Oh well, mistakes are made every day. Well, let's get into it. First, I'm not even going to bother stretching because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't stretch yet today, but I have aerial yoga later. We could do a quick one, reaching enthusiastically up to the ceiling, maybe releasing your heart to the sky, showing your neck. Once a guy was wiring me up for a conference at Deconstruct in Seattle, and he was like, "You have a lovely neck," and it very much creeped me out. Okay, now I'm gonna stretch my arms out, shoulders length, and I'm going to open and close my fists, get my forearms warmed up. I currently have shorts on and not pants, and it's a little chilly today. I think the high is like 60 something. It's been like 88 past few days. So it's cold, but I don't want to put pants on. So I have a bed sheet. I wanted to don't want to wear pants, but I'm cold. I use a bed sheet. My body, my choice. So if you hear bedtime ASMR, that's what I've got going on. The drinks of the stream today are, of course, a hot coffee with oat milk creamer, vanilla oat milk creamer. And this is like a sugar-free watermelon lemonade inside a chug glass. If you happen to join while live, hello. If you watch the replay, hello. I don't know, comment saying hi. Someone last week said that they watched a replay, and I didn't know that, so comment or post on social. I share about this on Blue Sky and Mastodon. Anyway, let's see. What's going on? Let's open the browser. I posted my weekly retro on livelaugh.blog today. It features squirrels, graffiti, tomatoes, Puma Greg being a cutie, fucked up sunflowers, just kidding, they're gorgeous, and a flower Pokeball, because again, Pokemon Go Fest was here in Jersey City, which was cool to see. I love when outsiders come into town, and they're very respectful. Usually the people on the Jersey City subreddit hate when there's events going on, mostly because they have cars, which is a skill issue. A lot of people who have cars in Jersey City don't actually need cars, in my opinion, and so when parking is out of whack, they freak out. But they were talking about how nice and considerate all of the visitors were. There's no trash all over the park, so someone even said, oh, they should come back for this next year. They probably won't be. I don't know if there'll be a Pokemon Go Fest, let alone Jersey City next year. I thought that Niantic sold Pokemon Go to Saudi Arabia. Right? Let's see. Saudi owned Scopely. I know people are like, well, there goes all your like location data. If you have a phone, your location data has been sold, if not to your phone providers, partners, but the police. I'm not saying that means that you shouldn't care about your location privacy. I'm just saying, like, some people choose to not be as precious with that. And you know what? That's fine and fair. But anyway, Pokemon Go happened, and this is a cool flower arrangement that Megan, who's like the head of, I don't know if she's head of conservation for the Hamilton Park Conservation Organization, but she does all the plants around like the gazebo, and she puts a little Pokeball there, which is really freaking cute. So yeah, I published that today. My friend gave me a heads up that Word Hack, which happens on every third Thursday, I believe, in the month. Yes, at Wonderville, which is a bar arcade in Brooklyn. It's where Jamie and I co-host Robot Karaoke every other month. But Todd hosts Word Hack and has been for a very long time. And so they are doing a eulogy for glitch.com delivered by Todd himself. And one cool thing about Word Hack is they do open projector, which is like an open mic, but for your digital work. So you basically could plug your laptop in and for 5 minutes at the start of the show, share stuff. And so for this one, he's inviting folks to share your glitch websites before they go offline. So if you are in like the New York, New Jersey area, Wonderville is like, it's literally like a 30-second walk from the Kosciuszko stop on the J train. And so, yeah, if I can get there from Jersey City every other month, which I do, you should go. I might make it. I probably won't, though. And Todd knows this. My favorite aerial yoga instructor teaches on Thursday nights. And I'm really trying to get serious with my aerial practice. And so it's hard for me to skip. And also, I might be too sad to watch a eulogy for Glitch by Glitch users. But regardless of whether or not you should go. Oh my gosh, my phone just started playing the stream again. I heard my voice, and that scares me. Another thing that's going on is Jersey Script, which Dan and I host every month on the second Tuesday of the month. And so we have a link to our newsletter? We should probably post a link to the newsletter, but let me see. There we go. So this Tuesday, tomorrow's June 10th, we meet at Hudson Hound in Jersey City. It's right near the Grove Street Path. It's about as close, it's almost as close to the Grove Street Path as Wonderville is to the Kosciuszko J stop. And so it's at 7 p.m. I'll be hosting this time. Dan will probably be able to make it later. But when you walk in, we'll be all the way at the end of the bar. So the food is good. The drinks are good. Maybe you can join us. And Jersey Script happens the second Tuesday of every month. So if you go to Jersey Script, if you go to buttondown.com/Jersey Script or jerseyscript.github.io, you can subscribe to the newsletter. There's also a Burrow.js Slack if you're a part of the original Burrow.js community. It's still one of the... I don't use Slack that often anymore because I don't work in tech anymore. But it is an active Slack, cool people, and it's a gathering of everyone who went to like the Brooklyn JS, Manhattan JS, Queens JS, Jersey Script folks. So if you're wondering where everybody went, they are there online. So yeah, there's that. I think that's it of the news. Other news. So on the topic of glitch, let's see. So if you go to support.glitch.com, everyone's talking about where they are migrating the projects. Oh, Adam's in the chat. Very questionable crew. Talking about Burr.js. Very questionable. Also very questionable, the glitch community. Support at glitch.com is the forum. This is where we're all talking about like the project hosting shutting down and all of that. But I do know that Pomax just put out an update just a couple of hours ago about the glitch bulk downloader. So now it's a proper repo instead of just a gist. I find that it's just easier to read directions in the README on GitHub than in a discourse forum thread, especially because it's like hard to scroll all the way back up to the top. I mean, it's not hard, it's just not. So I'm glad that he did that, and you can see like all the updates. You can see history of gist, but now the latest update, because somebody had forked that gist, is that the bulk downloader will also download your archived projects. So I haven't done that, and I won't be doing that on stream, because if we look at my dashboard, I have about, let's see, 24 pages of active projects, but archived, I have 59 pages. And archive used to be deleted, and so we would add the deleted name to it, but then we just changed it to archive, so we would just keep the project names as is. It's confusing, but you know, soon we won't have to deal with that confusion anymore if we want to find a silver lining in all of this. But yeah, so this is the 8th installation of migrating glitch projects, and I wanted to get through 2021. We've gone back in time from June or May 2025, and now we are at March 2021. Let me see if I can find my folder that I've been saving. Let's move this over. So here I have my folder that I've been downloading projects into. So one, I bulk downloaded all of my projects already, but anyone who's been following the stream knows that a lot of these projects, a significant portion, are remixes of other people's projects from when I was doing support, because I worked on glitch leading community, and a large part of my job was doing technical support as well for folks. And so I don't want to migrate all of those projects, so I am going through each of them here in the dashboard to archive them if they're nothing to me, or download them and categorize them by labels that make more sense in my brain than I would ever be able to explain to you. But as I add to them, maybe I will. So the ones that are most important will be .com, which those are the ones that I am migrating to my personal site. This is my local editor for glitch.com. And I have a glitch folder, and I'm adding projects there so that I'll have this page, jennifer.com/glitch, which is live right now, linking to those projects. So that's one way I'm migrating my static pages to. And then the other folder is Node. These are non-static pages that I want to go through to see if they can be static. And if not, I have to figure out how I want to make them live, because there's some that I definitely want to be live or like the code available to clone. And I don't want to use GitHub as my code repository, because I've beef with Microsoft. I've beef with a lot of companies. But like Apology here is a game that I definitely want to keep live. Live Laugh Chat bot, that was a Twitch bot, but I want to make that for YouTube because I used to stream on Twitch, and I have beef with Amazon, so of course I just had to stop myself from Twitch. I have beef with Google too, but you know, everything is just whatever. Moving on. Okay, so let's get right into it. Adam says she never eats beef, but she has tons of it. That's true. I am a vegetarian. Okay. Let's see. We're doing sorting by last edited. Last edited, by the way, on the glitch dashboard will update if you open the editor, even if you don't do anything. People who use glitch regularly and the dashboard know that. I did not like that, but it just was never something that we update, which is fine. Let's see. Okay, 2021. The MongoDB apps are always the bookmark for where we like ended stuff. Okay, this is when Sean was getting married. Okay, now we're here. Okay, March 30th. So let's look at the glitch blog and see what we wrote about in March so we can figure out, get into like the mindset that I was in. Because I believe, yeah, it was April. April is when we were hiring a bunch of contractors before we started. We were in the very, very early stages of the 1.5 year long job interview to be acquired by Fastly. So I'm pretty sure I wrote this. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we interviewed Joe Sandow. He, they made a page where you can, Blockosaurus, I think, blocked any, I think he created a block list of NFT accounts, because this is like where we were at like peak NFT hype, and it was when it was really hostile. People were discovering that their art was being copied for NFTs, and so they made a list of apps to block. It's not running because it has an old version of Node, but what I can do, this is a Twitter blocker, and basically all the old stuff that we're going to see that are Twitter related is like not going to work anymore anyway, because once Elon had bought Twitter, they completely undid all of the good work that era of the DevRel team had done in building a really good developer API. So, good time zone, chat. Hey, Colin. What time zone are you in? I'm in Eastern time, which is the correct time zone, as some would say. But I also don't have a day job, so I can do it at 3 p.m. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother opening this. Anyway, I interviewed Joe because this went incredibly viral. There's a huge need. But he also worked on other cool projects. I believe he was might have been a D&D streamer or like a board game streamer. I still follow him on Mastodon. But yeah, so yeah, we were at peak exploitative NFT hype. Oh, this is a really cool this is one of my favorite projects. It's probably not alive anymore. This person took on Google Maps a walk between two faraway places and had a bot that would use Google Street View to do that walk, and it would tweet it every like so often. And it was really cool. Colin says I'm GMT. May I have to beg to differ about correct? I don't even know what GMT stands for, so no, I do. Good mountain time, right? That's what it is. I wonder if it will actually run. Anyway, A Very Long Walk is one of my favorite projects. And that was last month on Glitch, February 2021. Let's see. Looks like your project's taking an unusually long time to start. What was your if you were waiting for your glitch app to wake up, what would you draw on the screen? I would always first try to cover up the text, as you can see here. And then I would keep just like covering around it. Someone in the glitch forum, I think, recreated a separate page of just this. I think it would be funny to incorporate that into my own personal site. Although I already have a drawing feature on my site. Okay, we're gonna give up on that. Anyway, would love to see something like this come back. And when it was over, they picked another walk that was like between Japan and like, I think, Portugal. I don't know. It was just like a really cool use of both the Google Maps API, Street View API, and the Twitter API when that was a thing. Okay, so let's get into my projects and let's see if any of these are worth saving. So I'm going to open up a whole bunch of them. By the way, I discovered I do have a NeoCities page, which is one of the options that people have been suggesting for static sites, because I have my own static site. Puma Greg just decided to go shred on his tree. Yeah, I'm talking about you. But yeah, 8 years ago I did it. But I also have an even older NeoCities page, and it's a secret. There's nothing really on it, but I created that in 2013. And usually when I have two accounts, I'm like, I'll keep one private, but it is a funny username that I squatted. It's not a funny username. It's funny that I chose that. But anyway, I do have this, and I'm not sure how I'll use it, but I will in some way. But if you're looking for a place to migrate your static sites to, the NeoCities community is really great. The people who work on NeoCities is great. It's been around for a really long time, again, at least 2013. And it's open source. And yeah, and then like their supporter pricing, I think, is like $5 a month. It's like, yeah, it's like Glitch. Cheaper than Glitch, actually. And it has custom domain support. So I highly recommend using NeoCities versus, say, Cloudflare or GitHub pages. But yeah. Okay, let's see what projects these are. Okay, so childlike gregarious bracket is violating terms of service. That means I was testing out our tool that detects phishing and bad sites to see if it would work. Jen, random question. Have you seen or used Coolify? And also, hi, Marty. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the dig. Let me archive the suspended project. Coolify, I do not know. And I'll look it up because I know you, Adam, and you wouldn't send me down some weird fucking place. Self-hosting with superpowers, an open source and self-hostable Heroku, Netlify, Vercel alternatives with lots of logos. Any language, any server. So self-hosted. What costs money? Been meaning to take a look at this. Pay as you go. With the OSS, you get everything without limits. It offers the same features. So I guess it's just what they say is just like a self-hosted Heroku. No, I haven't used this at all. I haven't tried it. But I'm glad that there's the option. I'm confused as to what gives you Heroku based type stuff on your own infra. Works best if you put in a VPS. I tried in a VM and it seemed tricky. Let's see what their merch looks like. Very unfortunate. It's actually not the ugliest merch I've seen, but I don't base what I use on ugly merch, but this beanie is very long. But this seems cool if you want to host, you know, some people when the glitch news came out had said, oh, can you open source glitch so we can self-host it? And the answer is that's probably not ever going to happen because one, Fastly owns it. It takes a lot of work to open source and maintain an open source tool. There's a lot of technical debt. And also it costs a lot of money to self-host a large network of containers or even a small network of containers, and so it's not even like really like worth it. But yeah, I haven't checked this out. Marty says cosign on NeoCity supported tier is great value, $6 a year for 50 gigs of hosting and as many static sites as you want with custom domains, plus their in-browser editor is decent. You see, I haven't even tried their in-browser editor. You know, in 2017 I remember telling the glitch team, we were launching as like a community, and there was some like pushback from the team of like we should focus more on like the editor. But I was like, and I told the story a million times I'm here, sure, but I said that in like 5 years, everyone will be able to have an in-browser editor. Like that won't be novel, but like not everyone will have a community. And I was right. Pretty much everyone has like an in-browser editor. It's pretty trivial as far as building stuff now goes to have an in-browser editor. But the community is important, and that's something that NeoCities has. And yeah, Adam, open sourcing and abandoning is so 2000s. But yeah. Okay. This is some now in project icons. This is clearly me supporting. Oh wait, Live Laugh Blog year 2. Oh no, it's not that one. Functional enchanted trowel. Oh, oh, this might be me creating a new theme for Live Laugh Blog. Oh yeah, this is me copying over my Tumblr theme. This is what Live Laugh Blog used to look like. Look, remember I used to stream Tuesday mornings at 8:30 in the morning because I had a job, so I can only stream before work. But that's fun. This is the year 2 themed. I'm going to download this and put this in LLB in Live Laugh Blog. Cute. Okay, let's archive. Valuable lemon parakeet. This is me remixing. Oh, you know, this is me testing right to left languages in the editor. It was causing some folks issues, and so that's my remix. Yep, support ticket for RTL bug. It's what I wrote on the label. Sometimes I was pretty good at changing the description to say it was a support ticket thing, so I wouldn't be confused as to why I had a project, especially ones in foreign languages, but more often than not, anything with a foreign language was... Actually, all the time, any of my projects have a foreign language was support related because I didn't code in foreign languages. So let me archive that one. Old community insights. That's the old internal newsletter. I'm just going to archive that. And then pencil distance. This was a fun project. This was part of an activation, if you will, that we did with Mythbusters Jr. because Anil and Adam Savage are buds. And so I used to lead a team called Glitch Services where we would do partnerships and build apps for them. And these were developers and designers who were pretty early career. Like one was a sales engineer that wanted to learn to code. And a couple of them are pretty advanced in their development now years later. So it was a cool, like, we paired a lot on stuff. And so this is the team. Potch joined later on. I don't know if I guess Potch was like helping out. Potch was on services. He was on DevRel. But this one, you guess how many number 2 pencils it would take to draw a straight line from one place to another. So, I don't know where the Hearst Castle is, but it looks like LA and Graceland, Tennessee. I don't know, but I'm gonna say 50,000 pencils. It would take 50. Cool. Okay. Walt Disney World. To the Navy Pier. I don't know. 29. That makes no sense. Carlos Eduardo says, are you a IA? Do you mean to ask if I'm an AI? What is an IA? I'm not an IA or an AI. I'm a gen. I'm just gen. I'm a human. Ugh. Can an AI have 10 fingers? Yeah. Okay, so this is one of those projects, and Adam, you're right, Mythbusters Jr. never truly got a chance to soar. But there's multiple games that were made for this. Yeah, Marty, that's right? That makes no sense. Like, let's see. It would not take 34 pencils to get from the Empire State Building to the French Quarter. Maybe this is why Mythbusters Jr. got canceled. Anyway, that's pencil distance. I'm gonna put this in archive. Okay, GSS. GSS stands for Generated Static Sites. This is when we had introduced, generated static sites. Like Glitch, all app projects on Glitch used to be Node apps. I'm gonna open up the math on here so we can see what's going on here. We introduced the Glitch Pro subscription, which added the idea of project hours, but we said that static sites were free. So then we added the feature of generated static sites. Like Live Laugh Blog and GenShifter.com, not GenShifter.com, Live Laugh Blog and Bugsrock are both 11D sites. So you need Node to run a build, but after that it creates a static folder, and you just have to serve from the static folder. So those are generated static sites. So for Glitch, we made it so that you can put in your package JSON, where's the build folder? Is it a generated static site? And you would set that, and then it would just serve from that folder, and it wouldn't count towards your project hours. So if you had like 1,011D sites and you set them as generated static sites, it wouldn't count towards your project hours at all. And that means it's free. So we made starters to show you that. Let's see. I don't know if I have enough caffeine in me to look at the actual math here. Look at them using the freaking symbols. Distance between two landmarks. Radius of the Earth in meters. I don't know, something's not right here. Well, not my job to figure it out, but maybe in a future stream we'll figure out how many pencils are actually between the French Quarter and the Empire State Building. Okay. So let's open up. These are the starters. Starter React Router, which are remixes of my old starter apps. A Svelte starter. Okay. What? I don't know what JavaScript ones used for big babies is, but okay. So this is literally just the starter, or an early iteration of the starter. Because you see to do. Same for that. That's an error. This is one of our, we did a React starter kit I mentioned prior. We did a video series. There's Suze Hinton. Love her. In Florida. They were working at Casper at the time. This is just the Svelte starter that I made. And this is just a remix of Hello Express, our original Express starter. I'm gonna archive these. I'm gonna download these into starters. Along with the Svelte. Ham says many a familiar face. Well, you know, our office is in New York, so I had to tap into the New York community. Oh, this is me testing out 404 pages. Okay. This is probably me helping out someone on support that wanted to know how to do a 404 in Express. Okay, let's... I'm gonna remix Svelte. I'm gonna remix the 404. And let's finish out March. JavaScript onesies for big babies. I do not know why I have this project. Okay. This was me making fun of JavaScript. This is me making fun of tech companies that have baby onesies in their store. Ask my mom. Actually, y'all, this is really funny. Poo poo pee pee. Guys, this is really fucking funny. Anybody that ever tells you Jen Schiffer's not funny, you could be like, she was funny at least one time. And that was JavaScript onesies. I don't even remember what activated me to do this. Or where I shared it. But what it does is it just, let's see. It's just images and then, maybe I was told to build a thumbnail image gallery demo. But yeah, how did this you're coming home with me. I'm putting this back on the internet. That's funny. Okay. This is probably me supporting somebody's Socket.io project. Yeah. Is the Ember font a Yehuda reference? I don't think so. I think I just like to make fun of the Ember font because it was so distinct. Like, not make fun of the Ember font, but mention it because it was like the Ember logo was like nice. Oh, this is a glitch button. It's a remix of the glitch button app, which used to show on all projects, this little thing, because I added them to the early starters. So when you remix, it would have the button and it would call the API to get your username and the project name and all that kind of stuff. But some people wanted better options, like different positions that the fish were in. And so I made this. But this is just a remix of that, so... Oh my, looking for my projects now. I found some started with Bower. Yeah. This is how old Glitch is. Okay, we're at February. 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 This is... I wonder if this project is still Banana Land. Don't bookmark link. Open link in a new tab. What is up with... Oh, is this just not a link? Okay. I was like, why isn't it opening? quite literally just this. Welcome to Banana Land. I ate shit like this up. If you made something like this, as simple as this, I was featuring it on Last Month on Glitch. And then usually the creators would email me and be like, thank you for featuring my like dumb little project. And I'm like, I love your dumb little project. It's perfect. Eat banana. Loved it. Okay. Oh gosh, hello Zoom chatbot. Here we go. Oh, like my brain just like got into my headspace at this time. Let's open up February posts. December 2020 was where I like first had said to my boss and Anil, I was reporting to the VP of marketing at the time, who's great. Shouts out, Alexa. I had told them that I'm leaving, and then they were like, wait, we're gonna like get acquired. And I was like, okay, like I'll stay and help out. And so these months was like me trying to like, moving my own goalposts yet again, and trying to like find some enjoyment in what was going on. This is a Svelte starter, but I used Fastify because that's what we're moving our starters to, or had done. Disc of Opulence. I don't know what I was doing here. But it sounds like it was going to be a lot of fun. This is just... Oh, this is where we started making the new Fastify starters with Express. But what do I say? I don't know. This is just like an early remix of it. Oh, I archived that. Adam said PTSD voice. Yeah, I like... I've said before, I enjoy talking to y'all on the stream. I enjoy using Glitch, but this process, the fact that it's come to this point, is quite torturous to me. But it's okay. A couple people said that it's helped them going through their projects to watch me go through mine. So as long as I'm helping people, that's good. Okay, Zoom chatbot. This is what... Okay. So one of the things that's going on to like keep me occupied, Anil is like, here, like the Zoom people are launching like a chat feature. Zoom is like at their peak at this point because it had shot up in usage because of COVID, which had hit us like the year prior. So Zoom was like, we're gonna like not just be a chat, but we're gonna be like your work operating system. Slack was doing the same shit, especially after the Salesforce acquisition. They can never just be a chat or a video. They're like, we have to be your work operating system. We want you to only be in our app at all times. Which anyone who's used Outlook knows I'm gonna avoid that at all costs. There's some people who use Outlook that use the browser within Outlook. It's a nightmare. And so they're like, oh, we have an API so you can make a chatbot. And I used to make a bunch of chatbots, so I was like, cool, I'll make one for Zoom. And so I did. But then it was like, oh, this is a chatbot, not a Zoom app. We wanted you to make a Zoom app. And I'm like, well, what's the difference between an app and a chatbot? And nobody can explain it. It was just, oh, it's two different APIs. And also, you cannot use, at that time, you cannot use the Zoom chat while you're on a Zoom call. And I don't think anybody's using Zoom when they're not on a Zoom call, especially at that point. I feel like this is the case right now. So I built this chatbot. They ended up not using it. It was like a waste of my time, but at least it was something for me to like do. And it was not hard to do. What I think I had it do is that if you, here's authorization stuff. Oh, this is just like a repeater. Like if you posted in the chat, it would just repeat what you said. But I did make a glitch one where if you did like slash glitch and project name, it would have like the editor link, the project link, or whatever. Adam said the only app I'm interested in using as a full-scale all-in-one work and life operating system is Balatro. That's right. Adam's a big Balatro boy. No, I still close it. Only way to get rid of the notification icon for all the chat I ignore. Anyway, I don't know if they still have that feature. I'll put that in starters. But yeah. And Disc of Opulence. Spin a disc for the potential of... I don't know what I was thinking. Let me put that in archive. The archive folder are things that I'll check at some point in time, but like not gonna care about. Let's archive these. I'm keeping JavaScript onesies for big babies alive. Okay. We're making it to 2020. So let's blow through January 2021. Some of these are private, which means they might be remixes of apps I did for support. They're private, so I will open those in a separate window for privacy. Although Disc of Fine Resources is funny. Ripple Walnut Dirt is a Zoom SDK app. And let's see. So Ripple Walnut Dirt is just a import of the Zoom SDK at that time. Who cares? I don't. And then Disc of Fine Resources. I don't know what that is. It just looks like the Hello Express remix. If I'm the only one in the project, I'm just gonna archive it. Oh, I know what bank robber is. Okay, Jade Lying Sherbert. Gen Money Old, and my random web project in 2021. Hello SQLite Remix. Maybe just a remix for support reasons. Yeah, I don't know. I found a new hair salon, by the way. I'm waiting for a response from them with a question I had, but it looks like I'm going to be able to book a haircut so my bangs stop being too big to not do this like weird side part thing. I'm excited about that. I had to move my dental appointment to get my new crown a month because my insurance has a 6-month waiting period, it turns out. My dentist had warned me about it, but I confirmed it. So my root canal retreatment that I had to do that cost me $2,000 is not covered at all, nor does it count towards any deductible, but I had to do it because I had a heavily infected jaw. What? This is some like starter site client K-hole. I don't know what this is. I did not design this. This is clearly like an import or something for support. Bank robber. This is fun. Okay, who wants to go first? Who wants to know their bank robber name? Is disinfecting one's jaw really that important? My gosh, I wish not. Turns out my last dentist, my prior dentist, put a crown over a cavity. And that led to, a couple of years later, an infection of my tooth. And I had already had a root canal and apicoectomy on my other teeth because my front teeth are fake. They broke when I was in 5th grade. Well, I broke them. I fell on my face. And yeah, the dentist that did the root canals did a shit job, so one got infected. And in a few years, I had my crowns replaced because they were old, and the dentist, put one over a cavity. And of course, now it infected the one tooth. And it's been infected since August of last year. But that dentist, instead of wanting to fix it, probably because they realized they fucked up, they're like, oh, we'll monitor it. And so I was like, you're fired. And I got a new dentist. Anyway, let's find out what Adam's bank robber name is. Your bank robber name is Adam the Bank Robber. Congratulations. We're going to do another one. Colin, I know you want to know your bank robber name. Colin the Bank Robber. I don't know if Marty is still here. Let's see. Marty the Bank Robber. And then I don't know, Carlos, who's asking if I was AI, which is a very strange question to ask a human being that's obviously human, unless there are other streams like mine that are done by AI. Carlos is Carlos the Bank Robber. So there you go. I'm going to be putting this into the .com folder so I can migrate that over into my site because it's important. This is a Slack app. Whatever. I build a lot of Slack apps. This is my old website. I'm gonna archive this. Archive. Because it's nice to have the old themes. I can't wait until I come across old remixes of the old glitch.com. Because in the early days, glitch.com, the community site, not the editor, but like the .com page, was a glitch app. And so it'd be cool to see that stuff come up. My random web project in 2021. What was I doing here? I don't know. Maybe I'm squatting it as like some kind of joke or something. This feels like I was trolling Anil about it. Okay, that's it. We did 2021. My gosh. So December 2020 was when I had just to Anil and Alexa said, you know what, I think I'm going to quit. And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, fine. Because I wrote, what I do is like, when I feel like I'm at the end, if I've like hit my limit with anything, whether it's like medical treatment or work or anything personal, I write like a letter to who would be like in charge, whether it's someone in my own head or my actual like bosses at the time or a medical provider. And then I would sit on it for 3 months and revisit it in 3 months and see how I felt. And if I felt more aggravated and misunderstood and that letter still resonated, I was like, okay, it's time to like go. or find a new provider or whatever. So I just know that like it was like September when I had like wrote my letter of like my issue with like work at that time. It was a few months after the layoffs, but yeah. But fortunately I stayed, because if I had not, none of you would know what your bank robber name is. So yes, as Mari said, the gift of knowledge about your life as a bank robber is key and important, and I'm happy to have brought it all to you. Let's look at December. 3 months with a letter in your pocket is hella restraint. A lot of people believe that I am not restrained. They're always very surprised to hear that I've never been fired from a job. I think because I am very, I guess the correct word is confrontational. I speak my mind and I have like values, and I think people assume that they're expressed with reckless abandon, but in fact I use quite a lot of constraint. I go to a lot of therapy. But yeah, okay, cool. December. Let's look at the blog posts from December 2020. There's a lot. I was very bored. Oh, cool. Nicholas Grenier made a gift using Glitch to send his wife on a scavenger hunt for, I believe, U2 tickets. Is that right? I hope. What concert was it? Kiss. It was to see Kiss in Oakland. So Nicholas wrote a guest post on how they use Glitch technology to build a meaningful gifting experience. And then Alexa, that was my boss at the time, did a Q&A with Richard Yee and Alex Tomlinson, who made the font. I think Alex made the font Whirly Birdie and Richard built the site, or the other way around. But this was, I don't know if this is still on Glitch. But yeah, Richard E. built it, and Alex did the type. But they built the site on Glitch. I don't know if it's still on Glitch. They're using a custom domain. But yeah, Alexa did a Q&A. Neil wrote about Google Docs for Markdown, which Glitch was like my Google Docs for Markdown. We always because Glitch was a good Markdown editor. That's why Live Laugh Blog was, besides, even when I left Fastly, I continued to use Glitch 1 because I love the product and the community. But it was a good Markdown editor for apps that use Markdown, like 11T. The easiest way ever to control who you share with the app. We launched access controls on Glitch. So the ability you can invite members to your project, but we didn't have private apps. And so with paid subscriptions, we allowed you to make your projects private. So yeah, that's what that blog was about. And I gathered a bunch of developer events. We just wanted to write about something. Yeah, we're just trying to Alexa and I were just trying to find things to do. She did a really good job at trying to coach me through not giving up on stuff. Again, this is a pretty toxic time period for Glitch. And I felt not a lot of people there liked that I was there because I wasn't an engineer. It's very, I don't know. Again, it was a toxic time period. But one thing Alexa and Neil both said, you were here first. And that's what I always told myself. I'm not leaving. I was here first. Which helped me through. Okay. And the reason why I say people don't want me there is because after the layoffs, they announced that we didn't care about community. That was all about like cutting costs and generating revenue. Which is funny because community is a mechanism for growing the community and generating revenue and directing them how to use the platform in a way that is cost effective for the platform. Those two things are coupled. And so my frustration was the engineer brain thinking those two are separate and ignoring like the actual correct business brain of these things are all coupled together. But again, that's an issue that I think a lot of companies that are like run by engineering have. Anyway, hey Potch. Welcome to my nightmare. Anyway, let's get to December of 2020. Let's read. Ooh, Node 6. This is an old one. Majestic molecule. Okay, so Ryan Giglio, who I first became friends with on Forest. I don't know if any of y'all used to use Forest. It was like a designer developer platform. It was kind of like Dribble, but for developers. It was one of my first developer communities I was really active in. Actually, Ryan emailed me a month or so ago to be like, I saw a glitch email and I know you didn't write it, but it made me think of you. How are you doing? But Ryan went on to use glitch to build an archive deleter. And so if you deleted your Twitter account, or you didn't want to delete your Twitter account, you wanted to delete your old tweets, you download an archive from Twitter, and Twitter would include a JSON file. I think they might switch it to CSV, and this would take that file and delete all those like old tweets. So, of course, it doesn't work anymore because, again, Twitter API non-existent, but I used it to delete my old tweets before I ultimately deleted my account. Forrest, I haven't heard that name in years. Yeah, I think like Zerb bought it and then shut it down like pretty quickly. Zerb, yeah. VentureBeat, Forrest is back, bitches. Forrest, it was acquired multiple times. Forrest shut down. Search only for that. Oh yeah, and then okay. So I think Color Lovers acquired Forest, and then Zerb did. Oh my god, Treehouse. Is Treehouse still a thing? Forest from Zerb. And then Zerb shut it down not too long after. Sounds like Zerb was being a herb. Yes. I worked on a consulting project, and Zerb were also consultants on it, so I ended up part of the Zerb work on GitHub, and then like people thought that I worked at Zerb, and I don't know anything about Zerb like at all except for like them acquired Forest, but this is before that had happened. This is before any of that. We're talking like 2008, 2009 or something like that. This is Zerb, a Brambles company. But I don't know. I just remember someone being like, oh, you know what? I think it was when it was after. When I joined Fog Creek to work on Glitch, my job was not public for a month. Because Anil likes to do like big announcements. So it was going to be like, here's Glitch. And also Jen's leading community on it. And so I didn't tell people, except from like close friends, what my job was. And then people started speculating. Because at that time, people like to speculate a lot. There wasn't much to talk about, unlike today. And so they thought Zerb was my gerb. And then another person thought that I left tech to go work on Wall Street because they saw me walking down Broad Street in the financial district. But that's because that's where the Fog Creek office was. And then it was announced like I work at Glitch. And it was very weird. It's very weird to be like talked about and perceived in that way. But you know, woman on the internet. I'm gonna archive that. Ninth Glacier seems to just be a remix of Hell Express. Same with this. Same with that. And this is probably one that Gareth and I... Oh, no. Okay. This is, like, too old to care. But I think it's a starter. I guess I was doing D3 starters on Glitch. Archive. Why is this private? Adam, I thought you quit your job to walk on Wall Street. The rumors are true. I would tell you the Jersey City to Wall Street commute is so easy. The worst part though is like Wall Street, probably still today, is all like guys in like expensive suits with dirty fingernails vaping. And I made the mistake of like being like, well when Adam and I worked together at Boku, we had an office right by Canal Street on Church, and there's a Planet Fitness right around the corner, next to Tribeca Bagels. They shared an awning. They're both still there. And I used to go to that Planet Fitness, which is a gym chain if you're not from, I don't know if it's regional beyond America. And it's like $20 a month, and you can go to any location with the $20 a month, but if you pick a set location, it's $10 a month, and I don't like to be told where I can or cannot go, and so I always got the $20 a month. But I would just go to the Tribeca Planet Fitness, and then when I left Boku and started working at Fog Creek, I was like, well, the closest Planet Fitness is the Wall Street one. The Wall Street Planet Fitness is hell. I'm sure it still is hell. Because it was just all the like expensive suit guys with dirty fingernails vaping, but like in workout clothes. Yeah, Adam said I took my niece to South Street Seaport and then kind of had to explain why FiDi is so dead at night. I remember once going to the financial district on, it was like a holiday. I was in college and my friend had a job interview at like a finance company. She was a math major. She had like a job or internship interview on Wall Street, but she is from like North Jersey, like Sussex County, where like everyone's afraid of the city. And so I went with her the day before the interview, but it happened to be like Memorial Day or something like that. So I went with her there so I can like show her around and be like, it's not so scary. And it was fucking dead. I think I was more scared there not being anybody there than she was. And I was just telling her, listen, when you come in tomorrow, it's gonna be a lot of people, but they're just here to like work or sell peanuts. But yeah. So if you're ever in the financial district on a holiday, I imagine any financial district in any town, like any city on a holiday, it's like Mars compared to like a regular normal day. Okay. Let's see, November. Again, this is like the quiet time period where I was going insane. Adam said, holy crap, those are like different planets gym-wise. Yeah. I love the Tribeca Planet Fitness. If I still worked in the city, I would still go to Planet Fitness. But now I go to a different gym that's fucking $90 a month. And that's like cheap now. Because it's like in between a Planet Fitness and an Equinox. But we don't have Planet Fitness in Jersey City. But we have these other like chain gyms. And yeah, it's like kind of like nuts. And after COVID, they don't give you towels anymore. Planet Fitness, they didn't give you towels. But like I feel like if you're paying over $50 a month for a gym, like you should give towels. But we're in that stage of capitalism where they're squeezing out money in any way and blaming it on on COVID. The fact that I have to bring my own towel is just, the fact that I have to pay $90 a month and bring my own towel, I feel like is uncivilized. Okay. Socket.io chat. This is a mean Gareth. Yep. This is an old starter. We've come across chat apps that I've made before. That's an old one. Did you know that Socket.io was created by Guillermo Rauch of I Lead Vercel, and even though I myself an immigrant, I hate immigrants fame, allegedly? I don't know, see his tweet from when Trump was elected. Okay. Solid Tugboat. This is an app I started working on before the glitch launch. It's got two names. This is when project names had 2 words in it. And Glitch was launching at the time that Slack was launching their Unfurl API, which is where if you post a link into the Slack, it unfurls it with like a description and links and stuff. They were just launching at the time. Again, this is 2017. They were launching the ability to update this. So I actually made the first ever, I think, public Unfurl API app on their marketplace. And you would pop in at the time we were called GoMix. We were naming ourselves Glitch, but that wasn't public yet. So if you add a GoMix or Glitch link, it would unfurl the description, project name, and links to run the code, view the code, or remix it. And that's my little like avatar. And Anil was like, we should rename the project because Solid Tugboat is like a starter name. And I was like, no. And not because like I didn't actually care. And if Anil, you're watching, you know this. Like, I don't like being told what I should or shouldn't do. So as soon as people were like, let's rename the project name, I like fought. Like, no, I love the random project names. But like Solid Tugboat is a stupid name. But that was a fun project that I got to do while we were waiting to like actually like launch the new glitch. But this is too old to, well, it's a starter. We'll put that there. I really liked making the Slack API was fun to work with. The documents are really good. The Slack voice is so good. Like, we love the people at the early Slack days. In fact, we got the glitch.com domain from the Slack folks because glitch.com used to be a game, and then they shut it down and started making TinySpec, and TinySpec became Slack, and they gave us the glitch.com URL. Well, we bought it, but like, I think at like the amount that they had originally bought it. I don't know the full details on that. Anyway, that was in 2017 where I built that, but I guess I last opened it in 2020. Now we're in a world with many big boats. Now in a world with many big boats stuck. We love solid tugboats. I predicted the Ever Given Everywhere app in 2017. Okay, October. I forgot to look at the November stuff. Our SREs are about SLO-based alerting. Oh, Dan Flanagan made a really cool app that tracked the election. That went viral. So I think I interviewed him about that. Let's see if it runs. For the price of a .today domain. Let's prepare. Is it going to start? So it did data from Wall Street Journal's election tracker. But yeah, I always just said, like, why did you build this? Why did you use glitch? What are you building next? Those are my standard like questions that I asked every like creator that I would interview. I like the creator interviews. They were fun. Storytelling with maps. We were starting to get really like, I love maps, so I was always writing about the maps people were showing. There's actually a really good blog. And gosh, I hope that they know that this is all happening, because they've put a lot of stuff on Glitch. If you ever are like, oh, do people use Blogspot? Yes. Maps Mania, they post like almost every single day. Actually, maybe they do post every single day. Keir Clark is the writer. And they're just writing about maps that people are making, map apps that they're making, and they do really cool stuff with maps. This is one of like the best like niche topic blogs. So if you're interested in like data, web development, maps, and the intersection of all of that, this is like the blog. And it happens to be a Blogspot, which is like fun and surprising, because you'd think, who uses Blogspot? But people do. We had a lot of immersive web on Glitch. These are all like 3D stuff. This is a tour of the past and present of Portland in 3D form. This is just Homer Simpson in space in VR. And I just collected a bunch of them. We had, oh, and this one's a good one. Actually, I was talking to Ada. Why do these links not work? I think when they migrated the blog to 11D, some of the links broke, which is obnoxious. But yeah, lots of cool A-frame stuff on Glitch. A-frame School had their starter apps on Glitch. Yeah. Gonna miss that. Over the summer we announced fast and free static sites on Glitch. Okay, it's over the summer that we launched. And then I made full stack to static. So a lot of people, because early Glitch apps all were node based, once you wanted them to be static, like if you were just using the default Express, setting like a views folder and public side folder, it was like, oh, this doesn't actually need node. This could be a static site. And so I just like did this tutorial to show you how to do that. The project feature in this post header is Iris Cockroach by Potch. I know that guy. Look at that. It's just generative scene. Very cool. I did passive aggressively use apps that my old DevRel team, who Potch was one of them, when they got laid off, I would use their apps as like demos to the internal team to make them feel their absence. And I have no regrets about that, because the team made really cool stuff. Okay. So let's look at October. Okay, that's it for October, so let's... Okay. This is... I guess this is just a markdown starter. Hello web page templates. Okay. Hello markdown. Is there a hello markdown? Okay, it was David from the community. I was to say, this design tells me whenever there's like a starter and it like looks nice and not overstyled or colorful, someone from the community made it, and they would follow the like hello dash library naming convention, if you will. I'm gonna put this in remixes because it's a remix of a starter I like. No node feature set. This is just me testing what node version comes up whenever no node version is set in the package JSON file. Probably for support reasons. Jen's dev environment set up spooky. Okay, I'm going to... That was me using Markdown for notes to share my dev end setup journey internally. It was, yeah, setting up PMPM and Redis, whatever. That was old. Full stack, static to full stack was, why is it called static? Oh, static from full stack. So that was that tutorial in that blog post I showed you before. Actually, that'll go in archive because that's still valid. I'm not going to keep it live, but I want to keep it in case I need to bring it out. www karaoke. Oh, this is great. So this is a karaoke video. This is kind of the precursor to, or it was a remix, I think, of Apology Hero. I made a karaoke video with my friend Zoe in the Jersey City waterfront and then in my park, and I smashed a laptop. I was trying to like make like an artsy karaoke video, and I set the lyrics to the first website. Y'all have probably seen this, the first ever website made. Let me mute the no copyright royalty free alternative punk music called Cool Travel and start the track and see what happens. I don't know if it's playing any video, I don't think it's playing any music. Here's the Jersey City waterfront. Zoe filmed this. That was me on my old HP Pavilion Entertainment notebook. And it's just showing lyrics that are just from the first website. There's Zoe. And we're trying to be like really dramatic because karaoke background videos that are filmed but like not related to the music or lyrics at all are usually very dramatic. This is me throwing the laptop. That laptop hadn't worked in like 15 years. Oh, I do hear music. That's Zoe smashing it in Hamilton Park. There I am. My legs are long, so none of my pants are ever long enough. Those are supposed to be regular length pants. And then we're smashing that. And then the end is we hold hands, we run off into the distance on the waterfront. And you know what, I think this one community member, Noelle, actually DM'd me about this because I think that they made a version that's like more accessible. So I just would put the lyrics in a JSON file and number of seconds that they should run. And I think they did a different version. But it doesn't require nodes, so I'm definitely gonna put this on my website. That's so funny. Let me make sure I have the video downloaded in desktop. Why is that there? Why do I do that? Anyway, this is beautiful. Okay, that's it for October. It's 4:30, but I'm starting to see like good apps. Like Moon for Free. That's Hoopsting too, and I kind of don't want to stop yet. So I'm gonna keep going. Okay, September 2020. There was no blog there. So let's see. And this karaoke track on Glitch, I recorded that video on New Year's of 2020. January 2020. Like on New Year's Day. Adam said, what happens at 4:30? Nothing, it's just the hour and a half mark. And, you know, I don't want to go for too long. Hoop 2 mentioned, yeah, because Moon for Free is a Hoop 2. So I think Hoopsting 2 is a Twitch stream that I co-hosted with Mark Bijan Stevens, and Ryan Broderick. And we started it. Gosh, I was going through an old notebook the other day and I found from my Zoom call with them. We started it a couple of months into quarantine, and it ended, I think our last one was a week before the insurrection, January 6th. I always say that January 6th is the reason why Hoopsting 2 ended, and that's more true than it's not. For a number of reasons. It was getting to the point where it was just hard to stream while like the world seemed like it was on fire. And then also like Ryan's Garbage Day newsletter exploded in popularity because of his coverage of stuff that was going on. And so like he had to focus like on that. And Bijan was focused on work. And I think like me, I was kind of like aloof about the whole thing because it was so much work to put into like a show. That was the other thing. That show, like, we would do bits for different kinds of bits, and it was like a lot of work. And so for me, I was kind of like, well, if y'all don't want to like do the work, like I'm not gonna like do the work. And yeah, so it wasn't sustainable essentially. But yeah, let's get into it. But I made a bunch of cool apps for the show. Opening up all of September. Half Silent Cheshire. Probably just a remix for support purposes. Oh, let me put the royalty-free music back on. This doesn't seem to be anything. Moon for Free. Gosh, would you believe that this is before the NFT wave? So I did a bit about buying, on Hoopsting 2, about buying stars. Like you can like adopt a star, but the whole idea is like absurd. And so I made a thing where you can adopt the moon. As in real as in fun and not as an actual violation of the agreeing government governing the activities of states on the moon and other celestial bodies, aka the Moon Treaty. So you can adopt the moon, a real slice of it. I guess I just put like a random number here, or maybe that's the Unix time. And yeah, you can just put like your name. Like, Marty. And it would just generate an image. I was the bad boy at Hoobastank too. Fun fact, I don't know if we mentioned this even on the show, but Hoobastank 2 is the name because I used the function of shampoo, which was like a subscription shampoo, and you can name it and it would put the name on the bottle. And so my shampoo, I called it Aerosmith 2. And we're trying to come up with the name of a show. And I said Hoobastank 2. And they didn't like it, but I was like, if you don't like it, come up with a new thing, which is how I handle indecisive men in my life. I'll come up with the idea and I'm like, if you don't like it, then come up with another one. Otherwise, we're going to do it. And they didn't come up with another one. And so the show became called Hoobastank 2. So it's a good tactic for any indecisive. As long as you are the first one to make a suggestion, if they don't like it, then it's like, well, the ball's in your court, bud. Anyway, this is funny. And it's static, so I can put it in .com. This kind of parallels the whole like NFT ownership stuff too, but that wasn't like as big in early 2020, it turns out. Gen Chat. Gen Chat is if anyone can go to genchat.glitch.me right now. I forgot what this does. Oh, okay. The only words you're allowed to use are cool, sick, and nice. This is probably made because I was made fun of for how I would respond to stuff. Anil would, like, he would show something like, oh, that's sick, and he'll be like, it's sick, and I'm like, don't make fun of me. So you can only say those words. And if you say anything else, whoa there, buddy, the only words allowed. So it's really just like, causes, I remember this one, I mean, nice. That's fun. Look at that. Technology is a tool for self-deprecation. Again, anybody who says I'm not funny have not looked at the evidence. This is just probably a remix for support purposes. Yeah, it's literally what it says. Remix for a support ticket. And then this one is too. So I'm just going to archive that. Sick. Nice. Hey, by the way, if you're new here or you haven't done it yet, if you like and subscribe, Puma gets his dinner. I'm just kidding. He's gonna get his dinner regardless. His dinner comes from an auto feeder that is going off in about 10 minutes. So no matter what you do, he'll get fed, but I don't know why I immediately felt bad for saying that. Like I use his food as a weapon. That's such a terrible thought. I love that guy. Okay, we're in August of 2020. Gosh. Remember the Twitter API? It's so, who wrote this? Oh, Tony Vu. Okay, this is a guest post. I think Tony might have been on the DevRel team at Twitter. We worked with them a lot. In fact, if you used to go to the Twitter DevRel site, there was a glitch Twitter API starter. And then when the API broke because Elon bought Twitter and broke everything, people reached out to us being like, hey, the starter like doesn't work. And I had to be like, take it up with Twitter, except that they had fired everyone except like 1 or 2 people. Is he laying in front of the feeder yet? He's probably on the couch watching the feeder from a short distance. His feeder's behind the couch. That's a great question. Lolly's feeder does not go off now. Is this a crime? Okay, so now we're in August, so let me open up all those. Okay, these are some old apps. This is an import. Pixcon is a pixel object notation that I made. It's just like basically a schema, a JSON schema to represent pixel art. I did it as part of an art residency a bajillion years ago. And I made an app where you can upload an image and it will convert it to Pixon so that you could import that into Make 8-Bit Art. Because Make 8-Bit Art, which is, if you don't know, is my pixel art editor, I don't have an import images thing onto it. So that's this. I'm going to have to add this to .com. It's a Node app. That's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna have to add that so I can redirect it. /command is allows you to add / commands using MongoDB per persistence. This is a me and Gareth deal. Early days of Gareth. Definitely doesn't work anymore. Slack Parrot is, I think this is just an app that repeats what you say using their old, like, look, this is when I had my Fog Creek email address. This is before glitch.com was launched. And I was using the Tiny Spec library because it was easier than the Slack one at the time. That one, I'm going to archive this, and Slack Parrot I'm going to put into old decare. CSV app counts. Takes CSV of glitch app URLs and returns the CSV of project names and counts. No, it doesn't. It doesn't do shit. This is probably a placeholder for, I'd showed a couple of streams back my Twitter search apps that I made for doing community insights, where I would get a list of all mentions of glitch projects, and then I had another app that did the distribution of counts, so this probably was the start of that. Poch said 1 like equals 1 spinch for Puma. Puma had a spinch already today, and he ate almost all of it. Sometimes he'll like leave a little sliver, and it like dries up onto the floor. It's a mess. But he only gets 1 spinch a day. Rare occasion, 2. I'm gonna archive this. Flexbox Froggy is an import of, I wonder if Flexbox Froggy still exists. Yeah, this is a tutorial for learning Flexbox. Is CodePip still a thing? Learn code by playing games. But yeah, I'm going to download that into the remixes folder. Simple Slides is an old project of mine. It's just how I made my slides in HTML. So essentially, every slide is just like a div box, and then I had JavaScript. Look at that, jQuery barbecue. That's for you, Adam. Uh, this is running jQuery 1.7.2. That's so funny. This one I definitely want to update, so I'm gonna download that into .com and I'll update it to maybe not even require jQuery. Marty says, I'm grateful that the cat who needs a robo feeder is not very curious about the robot's internals. Yeah, Puma's like pretty chill. He's kind of like, as long as I get my food, I'm fine. He doesn't like try to explore too much. Although recently he's been like jumping up onto the counter to lick the egg pan if I make eggs. And that's very like annoying because it's hot up there. But yeah. See, I knew that mentioning jQuery barbecue would activate Adam. Ugh. Pixelatize. It pixelizes your images locally, so it's slow. Let's see. I don't even know if it will do it. I probably need like a smaller image. Let me take Puma. It makes more sense when it's tiny. Let's do 100. Okay, save it. Oh, it did do large Puma, but now let's do small Puma. Open. It should not be. Don't stop. Why is it taking so long still? There we go. So it will choose a pixel size. It's client side, so it's very slow and cumbersome, but it just turns your image into your photo into pixels by going through each pixel and making it whatever. And then you can change the pixel size, keep going down, and joke that you're enhancing an image. This is a pre-glitch project. I just added it to glitch, and it's going in .com, but I'm probably going to make it have a server so it's faster. Colin says I can't even crack an egg now without my cat appearing. Fortunately, we're not at that point. Adam said I was talking about Ben this morning. I hope Ben's doing well. Ben made jQuery barbecue and grunt and worked with Adam and I at Boku, which is where I was at before I came to Fog Creek to work on Glitch. Glitch Remix Embed. This is just like a button to add to Remix. It just puts like the project name. It's old. You see, we have the SVG for it is on cdn.gomix.com, which probably doesn't even have an SSL cert anymore. I don't think. I'm going to, I download, that's gonna go in too old to care, because who cares about remixing Glitch soon? I'm gonna keep it live though. I came to Fog Creek as a sentence that sounds like it's describing a camping trip. Yeah. I never even bothered to ask Joel why it's called Fog Creek. I already know too many things. I have to be very selective about additional things I choose to find out. July, an update on how we're making Glitch more reliable. So, the spring of 2020, Glitch was in its fail whale era. Only to be made better by laying off a lot of the company. I don't know. And so I think this is a post that we wrote to talk about how we're working on it. June, we banned pinging services on Glitch because people were keeping their projects, too many projects awake, and it was like causing a problem. That was June. Yeah. Black Lives Matter movement was going on. Yeah. So for July, gosh, there's a lot of July. When did the glitch layoffs happen? I know The Verge wrote about it. That was May of 2020. Okay. So a couple months out from that. Just heard the the feeder go off, by the way. Oh gosh, there's some fun apps here. Possibly 2020. Some layouts. A sandbox for working on miscellaneous CSS layouts. Feel free to use it for your own work. So I was probably working on Live Laugh blog and was trying out different layouts for it and making them responsive. So that's cute. I don't know if I'll definitely add it to .com, but it can go there because it's a static site. Franking Thaler is a Vart app. I'll get into Vart is an art project. Institute, God. Vart.institute. So I used to write about artists and make apps based on their work. And they're using CodePen, not Glitch, so I don't have to update that, fortunately. That's funny. I'm funny. So it's good to know that Vart's not impacted, because that was like pre-Glitch time. But Frankenthaler was an app where I wonder if it even freaking works. It was to make art inspired by her. Hex or color name. There we go. She did like these like watercolor washes. That were very dreamy. Like stuff like this comes to mind. And so I was gonna do a Vart post about her. And maybe I will. Like, that's cool. So that's what that is. And I never wrote the piece for it. But maybe I'll do that. This is me taking... Okay, I think I did this before. Oh, Poch, thank you for joining. This is that karaoke app, except it's using Fat Lip by Sum 41. And I'm not going to play it because that's copyright music. But the lyrics come from my favorite Wikipedia section, which is musical styles and legacy. Wait. Oh my god, they got rid of it. Musical style influences legacy. Did they get rid of... Oh, there we go. They... This literally is just like listing a ton of genres that like overcomplicates the music of Sum 41. Like, this is a crazy sentence. Sum 41 or any other band, but like just to list so many genres. Sum 41 is described as pop punk, skate punk, punk rock, heavy metal, alternative metal, melodic hardcore, alternative rock, thrash metal, pop rock, punk metal, arena rock, and hard rock. And then it says, Derek Wilby said, we don't even consider ourselves punk, we're just rock band. And it was just a funny juxtaposition. And so I made those the lyrics for this karaoke app. And it's called Sum 41 Genre Wiki Karaoke. And I literally took punk rock, pop rock, yeah. And like lists a bunch of bands. Oh yeah, it was like, Sum 41's influences include Weezer, Slayer, The Police, Devo, Megadeth, Pennywise, Rancid, No Use for a Name, The Vandals, Anthrax, Carcass, Dio, Judas Priest, Foo Fighters, Green Day, NoFX, Lagwagon, Face to Face, Refused, Nirvana, The Beatles, including John Lennon's solo work, which is an insane addition to a Wikipedia article. Elvis Costello, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and Iron Maiden. Sum 41 is inspired modern art. Like, it's an insane article. Wait, does it still list? Oh yeah, here. This is just like an I don't know, it's just so fucking weird to... I love it. I'm obsessed with it. My other favorite Wikipedia section is on the Hoobastank page. They have a chart of what members, like the band timeline. And so they had overlapping 2 saxophone players in the mid to late 90s. Not a lot of people know that. Anyway, I love this timeline. Okay, so Hurricane Cockroach. I think I'm gonna allow my microphone. Oh, this is just showing waveforms. So there's live and then the waveform over time. So I did this to demo the media stream source of the web audio API. So I'm going to keep going as I talk and talk and talk and talk. So if you didn't know that you can generate these things like using just the web, you can. So that's cool. I'm going to download the Sum 41 project. I think an archive. And download Hurricane Cockroach into .com. GenSweeper. Welcome GenSweeper on Glitch. It's begin. So I don't think I finished this. I just like made the board, and if I like left click, it's cyan. If I right click, it's red. Oh, you know what? I might have been streaming while I made this. I'm gonna download that into .com because I'd like to revisit it. GenSweeper is a funny name. Going from Hello Web Page to Hello Express. So this is a tutorial on how to take a static web page and make it a Node app. Because again, Glitch used to only be Node full stack apps. So if you had a static page that you wanted to bring into Glitch, you had to know how to add the package JSON and server side file and stuff like that. So this is it's, I guess this would be starters. I don't know, it's a tutorial, but whatever. Vart. We're getting into a lot of like DevRel stuff. These are probably me updating old apps. Okay, so this is Vart. Look at this, me making a canvas background that you draw on. Okay, so that's what that layouts app was. It wasn't me working on Live Laugh Blog. It was me working on the future of Vart. That's fun. Okay. Maybe I will revisit that. Because Vart right now, it's a GitHub page, and I don't want to use a GitHub page. Put that in .com. Little Bits API. That's a me and Gareth thing. Gosh, I remember Rick having such beef with Little Bits. Because, you know, they're open source, but like, how open source is hardware like that when you need like tons of manufacturing? I think this is also a me and Gareth era. Also me and Gareth, also me and Gareth. These are all like just like kind of starters that we would import in from GitHub or build so that we had glitch populated with stuff when we this one too. In fact, Gareth pulled a lot of them in, but I was added as a co-owner so I can keep them up to date. Tembu. It's another one. Daddy or chips? Oh my god, that was such a controversial thing internally. It was so funny. So Gareth is British, and he made Daddy or chips Google Home action, and it's so funny. Like people inside were like, Daddy? Like, that's weird. We loved it. We thought that was so funny. Anyway. Google Home, Daddy or chips. Conditional IFTT. Gosh, remember IFT? I was like an early user IF. They sent me socks, and that like got me like if this then that is what it stood for. And I used it at home, and I was like an early adopter of it, and then they sent me like a socket, like electrical socket device, so I can time turning my light on with it, and I loved it. And they sent me socks. It was like they were really engaging with their community, and I was new to that as a developer, and I kind of was like, oh, that's what I want to do. And that kind of drove me into getting into community management with the developer community at Glitch. So I was kind of like, I want to engage with the developer community and build things and help them build things and send them cool stuff to like reward them for engaging with like a cool product. I just liked how I felt being seen and like treated by them, and I was like, I want to do that to other people myself. This is just a Tetris clone imported. Insidious flag. What was I doing here? We're still in July. Oh, this might have been an early version of the glitch button made by Fog Creek. Widget.gomix.me. Insidious flag reminds it, like I remember this name. And I know I built it because it uses grunt. I was the only one using grunt. I think this is just, oh yeah, it's this. So the logo for when Glitches Gomix, the logo was a bird. I think Andy's vacuuming something. I'm like entering ADHD paralysis. Adam is back, grunt mention. Okay, the door shut. Mind at ease. So yeah, we just like added a button. This is before me, or before me was publicly working there. There's just a button that just adds a remix link. But then I kind of took that and made the glitch button with the fish that everyone knows loves. But the hummingbird was the Gomix logo, our Gomix mascot, which is really cute. We liked it, but we got the fish. This is like, and it's like private because no one ever really even uses it. I'm just gonna put early days of Gareth on that one. Okay. Gosh, I must have like... Maybe? Oh, you know what? I don't think July. I think Gareth left before that. Maybe I was made the owner of all of these. No, it was longer before that. But I'm like, what happened July 15th? Anyway, Jen Money Dollars, that's my name. That's my IRC handle. That's where that comes from. These are all old projects because they have the two word names and also using old versions of Node. Glitch beta. I think I was just squatting my name. Loud freezer. That's a demo. A demo. Demo. Probably just a remix. Demo. I'm gonna keep those all. Oh, this is we were trying to experiment syncing glitch in GitHub. It was hard because whenever you wanted to sync anything, like even if your project edited itself, it wouldn't show in the editor unless you typed refresh in the terminal. And we tried having like that sync, and it would just make projects slower. So it's just better to just have you refresh than to have your app being slow whether you're editing or not. The same was with GitHub sync. Because every like 5 to 10 minutes we would do an auto like git commit. It would just make everything slow. Marilyn Manson, a metal project that does loud things. I feel like that's a joke. My cool website. I think it's just a starter I made. Oh, that one's a fun one. Web audio API experiments. So these are just like apps I made using the web audio API. I think this was the year that I gave a talk about that API at Web Rebels in Oslo. I showed that app earlier. So we'll start playing the Smiths. MIDI version of from some reason I use the Smiths as like a gag. In fact, Potch isn't here in the stream anymore, but Potch and I have a shared Dropbox file folder of like over 10,000 MIDI and .car files, and there's some other people on it. And one day I was like moving something around and everyone got like an alert that I had moved files. And so as an apology for the Dropbox notification noise, I added a folder of Smith's MIDI files. And I think that's why I just like, this is kind of like a nod to the people that are in that group of like, hey, remember when I like fucked up the Dropbox folder? I fixed it, but I can use the .com. I would change those to not be the Smiths. Slash command response handlers is another demo. Microservice for random words. This is the early friendly words stuff. Coral bush. That's me swimming naked in the ocean. This is just me squatting. Marilyn Manson, a metal project that does loud things. And then workshops. This is like my blank like remix starter for web pages. I mentioned before I liked like as little code as possible. I downloaded that. That's nothing. This is nothing. That's nothing. Intro to HTML annotated. Have I been vaped on? This goes back to what I was talking about working on Wall Street. Also, sometimes there are projects where I remix them and I just like the name. Intro to HTML annotated. This is literally an HTML page and I started annotating it in the comments because I want to make I wanted to make in the editor a way to annotate code. Like there's a way to like click code and ask for help and like raise your hand, but I was like, what if you can annotate it? Quite something like how Rap Genius then Genius used to have, except something where you only the creator can annotate and not like the entire world. So that was an idea that I had, which is a good one. Maybe I'll revisit it. I'll put that in archive. Have I been vaped on this month? I'm hoping to make it to work every day this month without getting vaped on. I feel like this is hard to do since a large part of my commute involves walking through Wall Street, which has really become vape central during the winter months. And I am no scientist, but it seems like the vape clouds are even bigger when it's cold out. Anyway, wish me luck. Again, if anyone tells you I'm not funny, they'd be wrong. This is my personal app created from our My First App series that will help you build your first glitch app in 2018, an app where you can keep your friends, family, audience up to date on whether or not you're achieving your New Year's resolution goals. Not doing New Year's resolution? Choose any yes or no status, like is it too cold for Jess to drink iced almond milk lattes? It's never too cold for me to drink iced almond milk lattes. I do it every single day. To this day. In this I've been vaped on project, I remix first app HTML and update the HTML. Okay, so cool. We did a My First App series where we taught people how to make their first app, and so they would remix it and I would keep track of my vape incidents. But that's funny. This could be a static site. I'm going to archive it. I don't work on Wall Street anymore, but I told you earlier before, was I not talking about being vaped on Wall Street? I made a fucking app about it. Bomb Cyclone. I'm not sure what this is. Probably just a remix of the starter app. Glitch demo, loading screen while waiting for server stuff. Oh, this is probably a precursor to... Oh yeah. This is a precursor to that interstitial drawing thing, you know, whenever you'd load a glitch app and was asleep. So I just was like, it shows loading, and then when the server sends a response, it gives you a response. Because, you know, in the early days, I was working on the editor and the infrastructure because we were a small team. And so that's fun. And then that became the like weird drawing thing. Not weird. I love that drawing thing. This is going to go in archive. Adam said, I hadn't thought about web webbles in so long, and now it's going to be stuck in my head. Web webbles. Welcome to web webbles. This is another web audio API. Oh, Tom Cochran. Wait. It's on a canvas, so... Oh, it plays different songs. Okay, yeah. Good stuff. It just plays media files. Smiling Feber. JavaScript clock. Created by Janet Fog Creek. Linking to my old Twitter account. Okay. Look, it's 5:15 here. That's funny. I could have been live streaming while making this or demoing at a workshop. Who knows, but that's fun. It's going in .com. Hello, D3. Let's see. Oh, this is just using D3 to edit the colors and stuff, which you can do. If this is what you want to use D3 for, you could D3 instead of CSS. I'm going to put this in starters. Twitter Passport example. This is how you use the Twitter API for authentication. A big thing when Anil and I went out into the road to tell people about Glitch, my big thing was like, imagine never having to roll your own OAuth implementation ever again. Just remix an existing example on Glitch and build on top of that. That is like the dream, because I myself was like, I never want to have to roll out my own OAuth implementation. I just want to like remix and move along. So that goes in starters. Actually, I'm going to move that from starters into too old to care, because it's too old to fucking use. That API doesn't exist anymore. Oh my god, so many July. Oh yes. Oh my god, yes. OAuth on Glitch. Yeah, it was great. Now of course I'm back in the camp of like, don't use any single sign-on OAuth. Because nothing stays around forever, as we know. We had never, people had asked for like a glitch auth, and we had a working one that we only used internally, and then it broke, and then the person that was building it got laid off, and so then it never like came into fruition. But it would have been so nice to like use the Glitch API to authorize people into your Glitch app. We had access controls, but like, I don't know, it would have been nice to have a Glitch login, because then you could access your token and like imagine being able to like write to your Glitch page from within the Glitch page. So think of like editing your Glitch app like it's like a MySpace theme or a Zanga theme or LiveJournal theme. You're basically like authorized in and editing the page as you go along. That would have been fun. Also, I wanted glitch authorization into support.glitch.com. If we had glitch auth to log into Discourse, Discourse is a plugin where you can use other authorizations, it would have been really good and easier for my life if you can log into the support forum using your glitch login. That was primarily what I wanted it for, but Marty said I made some baby subversions of that for IndieWeb's IndieAuth where you sign on with your own website as your ID. Yeah, and then someone in the community made something similar to like identify your glitch app by like putting like a code in your project, your user profile description. But I specifically need like a legit auth provider so that I can set it up in Discourse, which is what powers support.glitch.com. And we weren't self-hosting Discourse. Like that's like a paid for cloud instance of it, which I asked Anil when the shutdown announcement come out. I'm like, what's going to happen to the forum? And I don't even think that they've like officially figured that out. I think like they'll I think it was like they'll probably like merge, like they'll probably just like shut it down basically, because discourse for business is not cheap. I think it's like at least $300, and that's like on a legacy plan because we've been using it since before 2017. And because discourse, like we were friends with them because discourse came from Jeff co-created Stack Overflow with Joel's owner of Glitch and Fog Creek before the Fastly acquisition. So we all were like business startup friends. So running a cloud instance of Discourse is not cheap. I know that members of the community have been like archiving it. Yeah, it's between this. I don't think they're quite paying $500 a month. But so there's the Fastly, I don't know if that's the URL. Okay, so one of the things, I helped open the Fastly Connect forums using Discourse, and I feel like maybe they'll like redirect people to Fastly Connect or whatever, but they're not gonna be able to import the glitch form into Fastly Connect because that makes no fucking sense. If anyone from Fastly is thinking of doing that, again, these are two fundamentally different communities, different platforms. You cannot just simply merge. You'll just be like causing pain to yourself. It's probably just better off that you create like an archive of the forum and let that like exist statically. And I'm sure that the Discourse folks would be able to help out with that in some case, or you can like pay them to do it. So they haven't announced anything about the forum shutting down, and they probably wouldn't shut the forum down until at least not the rest of this year, because downloads are available to the end of the year. And with redirects through 2026, I don't know. I feel like they'll keep it through the end of the year at least. And it's pretty easy to archive the forum. I know some members of the community have done it before and have been talking about it now. But there's really like no business reason for Fastly to be spending that amount of money to keep it live past the rest of this year, because a lot of the content is links to glitch apps, which won't be live anyway, and support and technical stuff around glitch, which won't like really matter anyway. It would clearly be like historical. Anyway, let's see. Oh, Negativity Sandwich, my old blog. We've come to a glitch community site remix. Oh my gosh, we're not getting through all of July, because I gotta go at some point. We love Node. Oh, I guess this is just like our like weird like white paper-ish about glitch. It's not Node song, it's Node.js org. So this is really just like we brought viewed source to server-side code and the whole application, which 2017 no one was really doing. It like glitch was like one of the few places, if not the only place, where you can view the source of a Node app on the web without like logging in or it being your own product. So this is just like a DevRel kind of like landing page thing. It's going to be in tool to care. Negativity sandwiches. This is I don't know what. Oh, I think I started this as an ebook kind of thing. That's what I was building. Negativity Sandwiches is an old name of a blog that I had. and I had the domain negativitysandwiches.com, and then I just used the name for making this project, which would just, you can set the chapter that you want to show, and it would put the content there. That's interesting. I should revisit this. Archive. Random number ball. This is something the services team we made. This is like 2018. This is when we're still Fog Creek. Fog Creek became Glitch, I think like in late 2018 officially. And this is just a little magic 8 ball that the team made. That's cute. I'm gonna download that into archive. Voracious Stealer. Oh, the community site, that's right. Here we are. This is what glitch.com used to look like. We would put like an app of the week on the top. The fish would change colors based on what time of day. We had the Glitch Witch. And it was built on Glitch. I made these little cartoons here, which are very controversial. I hated that turtle. Made by Fog Creek. You might know us for making Trello fog bugs and co-creating Stack Overflow. We're a friendly, self-funding company that's been helping people make stuff for over 25 years. Of course, the site was made in Glitch 2. That's fun. And I'll show you the code of that. This was this when? Okay, I think this is after we migrated it to React. It used to be CoffeeScript in Jadelit, which I mentioned was an in-house made CoffeeScript and Pug, which was renamed to Jade because, or wait, no, Jade was renamed to Pug because of a trademark thing, like Zeit is now Vercel. But yeah, that's the old site. And this is just a remix of the starter. Thimble import. Okay, this is when Thimble was shutting down, and we made a tool to import Thimble projects into Glitch. And I think that this will be the last app I go into. So you could remix this project, put in your Thimble project ID and token. Thimble doesn't exist anymore, much like soon Glitch won't exist anymore. But this is a tool that we made with the Mozilla folks to help the Thimble users import their projects into Glitch before Thimble was shutting down. Tool to care. But yeah, I think I'm going to close it off there. I don't know what happened July 15th that all these projects got opened. Maybe I was going through all of them to see which ones like were to be shared or not. Oh my gosh. I'll look at some of these names. But definitely tomorrow I'll be able to finish going through the rest of 2020, because there's July, May was the layoffs, and there's also a lot of downtime. Again, we were in our fail whale period, so I'll be able to go through the rest of 2020. Whenever I hear CoffeeScript, I just think of Jeremy Ashkenaz's leather jacket and his motorcycle helmet. We stan. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna end things. It's been 2.5 hours. It's usually longer than I go, and I gotta go use the restroom. I'll probably be back tomorrow. Yeah. But tonight, I'm going to go to aerial yoga, so I got to get ready for that. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And keep an eye out on social, or if you click the bell or whatever, you'll get alerted to when I stream again. It'll probably be the same time tomorrow. I wanted to finish going through 2020 so that I can then start showing you how I'm migrating these apps before I triage 2019 through 2017. I need like a break from going through all this stuff. And again, we have until July 8th. That's when project hosting shuts down, but we'll still be able to download through the rest of the year. I'm just rushing through these now because it's so much easier to open them up on Glitch and see if I like need them or not. So yeah, okay, well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Like Colin said, it's been real. And thank you for joining. And I'll see you tomorrow on glitch.com/dashboard. Okay, bye.